Late one evening, after what felt like a never-ending shift, two mates working at a hotel decided to have a bit of fun. Typical mucking about to pass the time. The idea? A quick race against the elevator to the second floor before it could get there. Classic. They hit the button, the doors closed with a metallic thud, and off they dashed, legging it down the stairs. But just as they're halfway down, something odd started going on with the lift. Now, elevators aren't exactly known for having minds of their own, but this one, it had other plans. Instead of heading to the floor like a normal lift would, it just sat there, right on the second floor, doors opening and closing like it was having a right tantrum. The boys stood there, gobsmacked. "What's it doing now?" one of them muttered under his breath. Then came the voice. A low, faint whisper, like someone was hiding in the lift, whispering, in the creepiest way imaginable. You know when the hairs on the back of your neck stand up and suddenly it feels like you've walked into a freezer? Yeah, that kind of chill. The lads exchanged a glance, not saying a word, but thinking the same thing. Time to scarper. Whatever was going on with that lift, they weren't sticking around to find out. But, as it turns out, this strange lift episode was only the beginning of the madness. Fast forward a few nights, and things took a turn for the bizarre. The hotel started getting phone calls from one particular room on the second floor. At first, it seemed like a prank, some joker messing about. But then they checked the records. No one was booked in that room. Completely empty. Yet the phone calls kept coming, night after night, until it became impossible to ignore. One of the hotel staff, a bit braver than the others, or maybe just a bit daft, decided to investigate. He grabbed his phone, recording every step as he made his way to the second floor. "Might as well bring you lot with me," he muttered, trying to keep the nerves out of his voice. As he opened the door to the room, a feeling of dread washed over him like a bucket of cold water. The air was thick, suffocating almost. You could cut the tension with a knife. The room itself was dead silent. No signs of life. The phone sat on the nightstand, still and innocent like butter wouldn't melt. But the atmosphere? Oh, it was rotten. You ever walk into a place and immediately feel like something's watching you, lurking in the shadows? That was the vibe. The poor bloke could barely keep his cool as he scanned the room with his phone camera, hoping to catch a glimpse of whatever was going on. Nothing. Not a thing. But as he stood there, his heart thumping in his chest, the feeling grew stronger. Something was in the room with him. He was sure of it. His instincts screamed at him to leave, and leave he did. He turned on his heels and legged it out of the room, faster than you could say, "Bob's your uncle." That was the end of his ghost hunting career. But the plot thickened. A few days later, another strange occurrence took place. This time caught on camera by one of his colleagues. The hotel was in the middle of renovations, and the second floor was empty. No guests, no one around except two employees shifting furniture. They were having a laugh, chatting away as they worked. But mid-conversation, one of the girls caught sight of something in the mirror. A figure. Tall, pitch black, standing in the corner of the room like it had just popped in for a cuppa. Her stomach dropped. She blinked, hoping it was just her eyes playing tricks on her. But nope, the figure was still there, watching. It didn't move, didn't say a word, just stood there as if it owned the place. She quickly turned the camera toward the corner, but by the time she did, the figure had vanished. Gone without a trace, like it had never been there in the first place. Both girls were left proper rattled. They fled the room faster than a hare out of a trap, hearts pounding and nerves shot. Whatever they'd seen, they weren't keen on sticking around to figure out what it was. Ghosts, ghouls, whatever it might be, they weren't having it. From that day on, the second floor of the hotel was no-go territory. The staff kept their distance, especially from that room. Word got around, and the whispers started. Guests talking about the haunted elevator, the creepy room that wouldn't stop ringing. The lot of them didn't need much convincing to steer clear of it all. As for the employees, well, they weren't about to spend any more time on the second floor than absolutely necessary. Even now, no one's figured out what's been causing all these strange happenings. The elevator still goes on the fritz, opening and closing like it's throwing a strop. The phone calls haven't stopped either, always coming from the same empty room. And that ghostly figure in the mirror? No one's seen it since, but the memory of it still sends shivers down their spines. The hotel, once just another place to lay your head for the night, now carries a reputation. Guests still talk in hushed tones about the haunted second floor, and the staff? They avoid it like the plague. No one knows what's haunting that place, but whatever it is, it's not keen on leaving anytime soon. And until someone brave or foolish enough decides to investigate further, the mystery remains unsolved.